What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since we got to do one of these on a Thursday, but we are live here on Seahawks Today. And if you're fired up about the Seahawks being the number one team in the NFC, go on down below and spam those 12s. I'm trying to give shout outs to everyone who's here in the building. Been a little bit, right? It's almost, been 4 weeks or so since our last live. Xander! Bow! What's going on, Xander? Good to see you. Joshua, what's up? Jamie, baseball lover, Elite Misha, how's it going? Matt Gray, what's going on? Robert Fromm, Tristan Bennett, Julian, Patrice, what's going on? 86 people in the building hanging out with us. I better see a lot of 12s in the chat. Let's go. Giving shout outs. What's up, Condrix? Chris, how you doing? Christian Malley, a real one. Absolute beast going out on Twitter. I see you, Christian. Love and appreciate all the help that you're giving us here. Sam, what's going on? Xander, boom. Let's go. Hawks, baby, number one. Gotta love it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do. It feels good knowing that we're not going to have to stress, be worried about anything going into Saturday and Sunday for this week. Speaking of not stressing, because I got the most important man behind the scenes right now. Searle, how about you tell the people what's up?
What is going on, everybody?
Dude, gonna be a good day today, Searle. Ortner and Searle back at it again. No white vans, though. No damn nice. Daniels today. That's right. I still got a few. What's good, Anonymity? How are you doing? What's going on? I am King Board Light. What's up? Good day to be 12. It's a little bit nicer over here in Dallas right now than it is over in Seattle. But here's the cool thing about Thursday shows. I'm sure some of you guys have forgotten it because it's been quite a while since we've been able to do one of these shows. But if you have a question at the end of the show today, use this hashtag to get your question on the show. By the way, Xander, because he sent in that super chat, he is guaranteeing himself that he will be on the show in the mailbag and on a show at a later date. Thinking about posting that mailbag on Saturday. So if you use the hashtag Seahawks, you could potentially get onto the show. If you want to guarantee yourself a spot on the show, send on in a super chat. We always make sure that if you send in a super chat, you get on the show today and you get in on the mailbag as well. So whatever questions you got, go on in and fire those out. I appreciate Mr. Hustle Hilston pretending to work on a Thursday, but still listening in to the show. That is fantastic, sir. Right now, we got 81 concurrent viewers hanging out with us. Go on in and smash that thumbs up button. 18 likes on the show today. We're trying to get just a little bit north of 125 likes. So if you come in, hit that thumbs up button, you are going to help us get forward. Billy, you got to use the hashtag Seahawks. Otherwise, I cannot answer that question. It's a thing with the equipment over here. You have to use the hashtag Seahawks so that way we can put you onto the show. Elite Misha, you nailed it. That's how you do the questions for the mailbag. Ooh, Ben Johnson's hanging out with us in the chat. Don't you have a game against the Green Bay Packers, sir? Shouldn't you be paying attention to them? Just kidding. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Joshua, send that question in when you use that hashtag Seahawks. We got a full show for you today. 3 different segments that we are going to get into. We got to talk about the latest injury news, and I'll tell you right now, it's not hyperbole when I say the Seahawks got some major good injury news. Then we'll dive into the free agent targets because you can see as a lot of the head coach firings have been happening, you're seeing some of the coaches start to get asked to do interviews. Clint Kubiak has been asked by a multitude of different teams, as well as Aiden Dirty. He's been asked to interview with a couple teams as well. Well, if the coaches are looking for where their spot might be potentially next year, why don't we look at some of the top free agent targets and who I think that the Seahawks should make sure that they go out and re-sign or sign to the team. It's a little hint there. There's going to be a couple of Seahawks on that. And then, of course, our mailbag. Make sure you use that hashtag Seahawks or send in a super just like Xander did. You send in a super, we'll get you in on the mailbag, and we'll get you in for the show that will eventually go out Saturday, but it will be filmed here today. Thank you guys so much for everyone who came in and hit that like button. We're trying to get to 125. Right now we're at 36 or so. That means we just need 89 more. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, make sure that you come on in and smash that thumbs up button. I appreciate it, King. We'll be talking about that today. Don't you worry. Ben Johnson's got a great question. Billy Berger. I love it. It's not really a question, but I still appreciate it. Michelle, you used at Seahawks, or Michael, excuse me, use at Seahawks. Can you use the hashtag? We'll try and get that in the show for you today. We're at 42 likes right now, Cyril. How high do you think we should make sure that this like gets before we do our first segment? Because it's a darn good first segment, Cyril. I mean, shoot, you got to go through, help make all the graphics.
Oh, yeah.
Xander. Love it, sir. Cyril, what number do you think we should get to on the likes before we do our first segment?
We're at 47. Let's get it to 75.
I agree. I think that we can. What if we did 60? Let's do 60.
Doable.
60. 60. We're going to get 13 more likes on this video, and then we will get into that first segment. But I got to shout out Xander, and I got to shout out Thomas. Bang. Thank you guys for sending in those supers. Not only will you be on the show today, you will be on our mailbag that'll go out on Saturday. We will answer those questions here in just a moment. Takes a little bit for our equipment to get your supers and your questions onto the screen here in just a moment. We are 8 likes away, by the way, from being able to start that first segment. There's 72 of you in the building, so that means that at least 21 of you haven't liked that video yet, so make sure that you do. Come on in, like this video. I refuse to get started with anything until we hit that 60 mark. Have those supers been able to pop up? Because if they have, let's rip through those both. I'm going to give the people plenty of time to hit that like button. Billy, not at Seahawks, hashtag Seahawks. Hashtag Seahawks with a little hashtag there. Xander, I believe in Sammy D and always have. Who else? I bet you there's a bunch of people rocking with you, Xander. In fact, I bet you we'll be able to really dive into what's going on with Sam Darnold in the mailbag today. Thomas, if KK or AD depart, who should replace them? Oh, you're talking about Clint Kubiak and Aiden Dirty. Well, I'll tell you what, I just saw this. Now, this is on Twitter. By the way, we got over the 63 like mark. Appreciate every single one of you. 81 of you still hanging out with us, so make sure you go in and hit that thumbs up button while I'm answering Thomas's question. So if Kubiak leaves, I just saw a take on Twitter, scorching hot. Guess who got fired today? Mike Macdonald. Well, if he doesn't get a head coaching position, could he end up taking an OC spot in Seattle? That's kind of the take going on right now from Elite Takes over on Twitter. In fact, I actually just retweeted it. So I'm going to send in here into the chat. If you don't follow me on X, you definitely should. You'll get extra Seahawks commentary. What's going on, Mike, Nintendo Master? And what you can do is if you click that link, you will see that take from Nico. And I would believe it's a home run hire. If you somehow got Mike Macdonald in to be the offensive coordinator, home run freaking hire. I don't even know where you go from there. If you're looking at the defensive side of the football, I think this might be a position where if Aiden Dirty leaves the Seattle Seahawks, it might make sense to just kind of promote from within. Although I will say that right now, like Carl Scott, if you're going to promote from within, does seem like someone who would have a decent opportunity at taking over that role because he's already running your passing game coordinator along with some of your defensive back stuff. So that could be a position or a coach that could be an eye to watch. You could always look into the National Football League and look at some of the other position coaches around the NFL. Another good eye to look at would also be Justin Hines. He's been fantastic this year with the defensive line coverage. He's fantastic this year with the Yep, no worries. No worries at all. We got a bleeder. It's okay. So Justin Hines, he would be a fantastic addition if Aiden Dirty left. Promote from within. Hey, look at what he's done with the D-line this year. Leonard Williams is playing lights out. You have seen DeMarcus Lawrence play lights out this year. Byron Murphy play lights out this year. Those would be huge additions. Mr. Hilson, I hope that you were able to end up following me now. That I would be very appreciative of. In fact, shout out to you. Thank you so much for following me. Also, shout out to Patriots Super Bowl champs 25. I'm going to assume that wasn't you, but you never know. If Mike McDaniel and Mike Macdonald got together, that'd be scenes. That would be cinema. All right, Cyril, we've kept the people waiting long enough. By the way, I hope your finger's okay. I'm sorry about that. Just reopened it? Okay. Well, I am sorry about that. We said that we had to get to 60 likes. We got well over that at 67. There's still 79 of you here in the building. So that means that a few of you have not hit that thumbs up button. So come on in, smash that thumbs up icon if you so please. We're going to dive into the latest injury news around the Seahawks. And not to give too much away, but the news is pretty good. All right, whenever you are ready, Mr. Searle, let's get it rocking. Cool. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we have got to talk about the latest injury news around the Seattle Seahawks because boy, oh boy, did we finally get some good injury news. It feels like when I've brought up the latest injury reports for the last couple of weeks, it's been negative. Charles Cross can't play. Coby Bryant's trying to come back, but it doesn't look like he's going to be in a position to do so. Elijah Arroyo's on the injured reserve. Now there's a conversation of Torrey Horton. Will he play this year? Now officially he will be done for the entire year. Finally, I get to come to you and tell you that there is some good injury news, and it's around Elijah Arroyo and Charles Cross. We are going to be breaking down all of that injury news on today's video. But before we dive into Arroyo's news and what it means and what Charles Cross's injury news means, I need your help. Come on in and hit that sub button. Not only are we closing in on 79,000 subscribers, but we're closing in on Dolphins Today. Now, they started to run away. We were within 200 subscribers, and then they had some big news stories break. And look, Rolly and Coop are doing a fantastic job over at that channel, making sure that it continues to grow. I want to do a better job than they are. So come on in, hit that sub button. We always really appreciate it here on the show. And it makes it easier for me to go to the bosses and say, we need to do more Seahawks content, the bigger the channel that we are. All right, so the big news surrounding Elijah Arroyo is he has been designated to return to practice for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, he's not officially been put on the active roster at the time of this recording, and frankly, it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense for the Seahawks to do so yet. But getting Arroyo back will absolutely do numbers for this offense, not just in the passing game, but in the running game as well. Arroyo has been out for the last 4 weeks on injured reserve, dealing with a knee injury that, if I remember correctly, he suffered all the way back in that Atlanta Falcons game. Man, it feels like so long ago. Now, when you look at the stats this year for Arroyo, there aren't any numbers that are really going to knock your socks off. Like, nothing's going to jump out and go, wow, he was the best tight end this year. He's got a decent number of targets, 26. His receiving yards is fine, under 200, but not like blowing you out of the water. He came in as a guy who was supposed to be this big receiving target, so you thought maybe he'd take over in the low red zone. A.J. Barner has actually been more so of the low red zone target. So Arroyo really doesn't have any touchdowns this year other than the one. But what Elijah Arroyo does a great job of doing, and we don't fully realize this, is how he opens up what this offense can do. And I don't just mean in the passing game, which we'll get into here in just one moment, but more so in the running game as well. No offense to Eric Saubert. I know that he caught that 2-point conversion to help push the Seahawks to victory over the Rams, but he just can't do certain things that Elijah Arroyo can. And I feel like with the addition of Arroyo and the ability for the Seahawks to go 12 personnel, which means 2 tight ends out on the field, you are going to see more running lanes open up for this rushing attack that's continuing to get better and better every single week. But also you are going to see passing options really emerge for Sam Darnold and force defenses to not commit as much to A.J. Barner or commit as much to Cooper Kupp, who have been those low, medium, short route runners for the Seahawks making big catches. Now, when you look at Arroyo's season so far this year when it comes to getting open in space, this blew my mind. It actually shocked me when I saw it. Now, obviously, this was going in before he ends up getting hurt and missing a lot of time. But he was actually leading the NFL in rookie tight end separation score. What does that mean, Will Ortner? Well, first, let me put my glasses up a little bit higher because it's a big nerd stat. But more importantly, what this separation score means is how much space is Arroyo creating between him and his defender. That means when a linebacker or a safety is guarding Arroyo, is he able to get a couple of inches, a couple of feet, a couple of yards of space to allow an easier throw for Sam Darnold? When you look at that separation score right there, he blows every other tight end out of the water that is a rookie this season. Now, you might say that Loveland and Ferguson and Tyler Warren, Fannin, they might have better numbers when you're looking at the traditional receiving yards, touchdowns, receptions, whole nine, right? But what Arroyo does a great job of is getting open. Seattle just hasn't necessarily done a great job of getting him the football. Now, when it comes to win rate, that is when the ball is thrown Elijah Arroyo's way. How often is he coming down with those catches? Arroyo, he didn't get a lot of opportunities to catch the football, but when he did, he really took it to the next level. When he did get the opportunity, aside from that freak ball that bounced off him and led to an interception in Atlanta, he really made the most of those opportunities. And I think that is important for Seahawks fans to really note. I do want to ask you, though, right now, look into your crystal ball. Will Elijah Arroyo play next week when the Seahawks play their next game in the divisional round? I believe that we will see Arroyo out on the field. And in fact, I think this is the perfect timing, and this is why the bye week was so important for the Seahawks, because it allowed guys who are injured like Arroyo to get a week under their feet, really wet their beak, so to speak. Give them opportunities to practice and get the rust knocked off themselves so they can play at their best abilities. I think that he plays. Let me know down below in the comment section, does Arroyo play, yes or no? Next, I do have some more Arroyo stats, and yes, they are nerd stats that I think are going to really accentuate the point that I'm trying to make here around Elijah Arroyo. Plus, we're going to talk about Charles Cross and the latest news around him. But first, I got to let you know about my good friends over at Rocket Money. And I've been telling you guys this pretty recently that I've got a couple of vacations planned, and I have actually been using Rocket Money to help me save some money and set some goals so that way I can have the most fun when I have those trips. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has been helping me track some of my subscriptions, and you know what? We found out that I was actually double paying for a couple of streaming services. That's unnecessary. That's unneeded. So Rocket Money helped me cancel those extra subscriptions and save some money. I was actually already able to put some money away for those trips that I am going to take in the summer. Now, it's not quite enough money yet for me to be fully comfortable on that trip, so Rocket Money is helping me budget for my vacation as well. Each month, we are setting spending goals for myself, and so I can save a little bit of extra money on the side in preparation for that trip in the summer. Really excited to get back to Washington State. Thank you so much to Rocket Money for helping me out there. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. Shout out to Rocket Money, man. Really excited to get back to my home state later on this summer. So what the Seahawks have looked like this year with Elijah Arroyo on the field. Right now, they're 8th in EPA per play. What does that mean? That means that the Seahawks are actually getting more yards than most teams on average are when Arroyo's out on the field. When Arroyo's been on the field, their passing game is getting more yards because opposing defenses are sucking into Arroyo. They're focusing just a little bit more, and that allows JSN to get more one-on-one opportunities, allows Cooper Kupp to get more one-on-one opportunities. It stops opposing defenses from being able to blitz Sam Darnold, making life easier for him in the passing game. When he's out on the field, Seattle has done a fantastic job of getting success and making sure that they finish their plays strongly. When Arroyo has been on the field, just the different things that he can add to this team in the running game, because he's a great blocker, and in the passing game, because he gets open, have been huge. Now, the last couple of weeks, I've been really complaining about what the Seahawks offense has looked like, and that's because they have been without Elijah Arroyo. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that Arroyo is the end-all, be-all, and the reason why those numbers have gone so much further down is because of Arroyo, but he certainly plays a role. Teams clearly don't respect Eric Saubert as much as they respect Elijah Arroyo in the passing game. So teams are not putting safeties or faster linebackers on him like they would Arroyo. That allows them to add more people into the box or double more of our wide receivers. When it comes to the run game, it's clear teams do not respect this Seahawks rushing attack as much as when Elijah Arroyo is out there, because Arroyo's able to just frankly get to blocks that Saubert cannot yet. This isn't an attack on Eric Saubert. This is just me pointing out the fact of how good of a player Elijah Arroyo is. And while when we look at the base numbers for him, they are a little bit less than what we wanted, it's still important to note just how much he affects the game on the things that we don't quite see. So getting Elijah Arroyo back out at practice with a good shot to be able to play on next week, I'm pretty darn excited about that. The next piece of good news, Charles Cross was back out at practice, and I've never seen someone so happy, smiling so much to practice in a big rainstorm than Charles Cross was. As we look at Cross this season, he's had a pretty darn good year. He's missed the last couple of weeks, obviously dealing with that hamstring injury. In fact, he didn't even have a real chance at playing against the Rams or the Panthers. Was hopeful that he would get to play against the 49ers, ended up not being able to play there. So now we finally get to see the Seahawks offensive line back at its entirety, completely full, just like we were hoping that they would be. So to see the offensive line back to where it was at the start of the year is immensely huge for this team, because we've seen how well this offensive line has been really gelling together, and they've been doing that largely with backups at different positions. Oluwatimi had to get time with Jaelan Sundell out. We obviously had a little bit of a scare there with Gray Zabel. He ended up not really missing a ton of time, but there was a little bit of Christian Haynes play for a drive or two against the Rams in the first one. And then Charles Cross has actually missed significant time, not playing in the last 3 games. If this Seahawks offensive line can play the way that we have seen them all individually play at different points, I'm pretty darn excited. Charles Cross is only going to make this rushing attack stronger, and that's a rushing attack that we saw just run all over the Los Angeles Rams, the Carolina Panthers, and the San Francisco 49ers. What do those 3 teams have in common? They're all freaking playoff teams, and the Seahawks were doing that with a backup tackle. Now, I'm not here to say that Josh Jones is a bad tackle. No, Charles Cross is a better tackle. There's a reason why we just signed him to that big contract extension, and he's earned every freaking dollar. This run game is going to get better because we will have our best 5 players out on the field that have the most chemistry with themselves in that offensive line room because they've been playing together as a unit for so long. Charles Cross returning and Elijah Arroyo returning is the best news that the Seahawks could have hoped for this week, because you couldn't win a game. So getting as many players back as possible, that was the best news you could hope for. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that I'm going to be giving you a good news update on Coby Bryant here soon. The Seahawks got the best news of the week. Let me know if you agree with that statement or disagree with that statement down below in the comment section. If you disagree with that statement, you better have an ironclad reason why you disagree. Cite your sources, MLA format. Like I told you, hit that sub button. Help us reel in Dolphins today. They're starting to try and run away with it. Let them know that the PNW is better than the 503 or whatever, 305. What is his name? Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. Let them know that we're better than those guys. Come on in, hit that sub button if you love the Seattle Seahawks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bang! Jaelan! Don't think I didn't see that. We'll get you up here on the screen in just a moment, man. That was fantastic. 110 of you hanging out with us. Hit that thumbs up button. We are just 3 likes away from hitting 90 likes. Can we get into triple digits? Jaelan, that's a fantastic sentiment. Don't you worry. We're going to get you up here on the screen in just one moment. Shout out to Alaska. What up, Alaska kid? Daniel Schultz says 100% agree. I'm glad that you agree with me. Yes, he will. Yes, Arroyo will play. Boy, oh boy. Yep, Mr. Bass Jaw. Agree, Will. None of our tight ends can stretch the field like Arroyo. Happy to hear he's on his way back. Dude, I cannot frickin' wait to see him back on the field with the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be a gigantic muster through. We are 2 likes away from 100. Man, oh man, that would be massive. Hit that like button if you haven't. If you're just joining us, I'm not going to be upset with you. Hit that like button if you haven't. Jaelan! Boom! What's going on, sir? People still doubt the Hawks. What more do we have to do to silence the haters? I think, unfortunately, Jaelan, we have to win the entire thing. Because the minute that the Seahawks lose, if the Seahawks were to lose, knock on wood, I don't think that they're going to. But if the Seahawks lose, the immediate blame is going to be right onto Sam Darnold. The immediate blame is going to be, well, this defense got too old. Well, this rushing attack sucks. Well, JSN can't be a number 1. Whatever stupid insult that they want to fire off at the Seahawks, it will be fired off if the Seahawks are unable to win the Super Bowl. So the only way to silence the haters is to win that damn thing. Cyril, I think this is a good point, and I think it's something that we could definitely talk about too, maybe in a future video. But think about this. Who was the team that won the last Super Bowl?
Who won it? I'm blanking.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl last year. What have the Philadelphia Eagles fans been upset about this year? They are super mad about Kevin Patullo and the offense not being good. They want Jalen Hurts gone, and they want Tanner McKee. They want A.J. Brown gone. Some people have even said fire Sirianni. All of these things. And they just won a freaking Super Bowl. They won the damn thing.
The fans will never be happy up there.
Never.
You can win a Super Bowl, go back-to-back, and then the next year suck, and then it's like
100%.
pitchforks and all that are out and full force. It's just not good.
100%. The other thing that's important to note about that team and the media coverage, the national media is also leading and helping spearhead that. So the national media just watched the Philadelphia Eagles win a Super Bowl in dominant fashion, blowing out the best team and the best dynasty of the last 15 years. And immediately they're still like, well, you probably got to fire Sirianni, right? Like, whoa. I mean, you can fire Sirianni and go hire John Harbaugh. That makes sense. So imagine what's going to happen to the Seahawks, whether they win or lose this. I think there's, like, would it shock you, Cyril, if we turned on First Take Monday after the Super Bowl, knock on wood, fingers crossed, Seahawks come away with a victory? Would you be shocked if Stephen A. Smith goes on there and still goes, I don't know if I can still trust Darnold? Like, honestly, I could see that.
With Stephen A., yeah, because nothing that comes out of his mouth surprises me. But I do think, like, some of this could be, like, with the media, recency bias.
100%.
And just, like, the Seahawks not having that much success, Super Bowl level success since whenever they won it last. Well, would have been?
We would have won it in 13, but it would have been fall of 14 or winter of 14.
Winter of 14.
Yeah.
So 12 seasons ago.
Yeah, it would have been my sophomore year of high school.
I think that's part of the reason why you see a lot of the national media sort of like doubting the Seahawks. Is just the recency bias involved with it. Yes, unfortunately.
Sir. Yes, sir. It's frustrating. And they just hate the Pacific Northwest, and I don't know why. Prince, I see you. What's up? Seahawks Hall of Famer hanging out with us in the chat. Jaelan, that's a great question. Because you sent in that super, by the way, all the supers that are sent in on today's show, they are going to be a part of our mailbag later on. So Jaelan will be a part of a show later on, or be part of the segment later on today. But more importantly, Jaelan will be on a video that we end up publishing. Right now, I think the plan is for Saturday. So Jaelan, make sure that you're checking in on Saturday. I see David down in the chat right now using that hashtag Seahawks. If you want the opportunity to get on the show, use that hashtag Seahawks. Or like Jaelan, you could send in that super. The hashtag Seahawks, we're going to do our best to get you on. You send in a super, we guarantee that you will be on the show. Give me a follow on social media at Will Ortner. It's the same on X as it is on Instagram. Now, the Instagram is a slightly different picture. You can see my bald noggin. I'm out there giving a speech for my brother's wedding. Very fun time. Very much enjoyed it. And no one cried. Everyone laughed. That's the type of speeches that I give at those types of ceremonies. If you head over on Twitter, by the way, you're going to get a lot of extra Seahawks content. Both of those social media sites, we got you covered on the Seattle Seahawks. So make sure that you don't miss out on that opportunity. We are at 109 likes so far on the video today. Let's get to let's try and get to 115. I think we get to 115, we'll do the next segment. Does that sound good? I think we can get to 125. I think we got an opportunity because I see people joining us every single time I look down. So if you're new here and you haven't had the opportunity to hit that like button, now is the time to do so. Now. If you go on in and hit that like button, we are just 4 likes away from that 115 mark. So come on in, hit that like button if you could. We appreciate it. Means the world to us here on the channel. And that means we're 3 likes away right now. 3 likes. Boom! Smashed it! Way over that 115 mark, 116. If you haven't had an opportunity to like the video, do so now. By the way, we're 9 away from our goal. I want to be able to go to the bosses and say, hey, we can't be missing these Thursday lives because we're hitting our goals on our likes. So if you haven't had the opportunity to hit that like button, do so now. We are going to get ready for our second segment. I'm going to be talking about some of the free agent targets that the Seahawks are going to want to go after. Then we will get into our mailbag. Remember, if you want to be a part of that mailbag, send in that super. We'll get you on that show. Thank you guys so much. Cyril, are we ready to go? Shiloh, I'm the host now, and I will be the host for the future, as long as I can be, because I love the Seahawks and I love covering them. So I will be the host. Appreciate it, Prince. You're an absolute beast. Seahawks Broncos would be a great Super Bowl. That would feed a lot of families. All right. We ready to go, Cyril? Yep. Let's do it. By the way, we're 5 likes away from that 125 mark. Let's see if we can do it while we're in the middle of filming this video. What's going on, everybody? This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and it feels weird. It feels a little yucky, but I'm going to do it anyways. It is time to start looking at the top free agents that I believe the Seattle Seahawks should target in the 2026 offseason because, well, Seahawks only practiced twice this week. There's not a whole lot of news coming out because, well, we're the top dog and we're the number 1 seed in the NFC. So I can't give you a preview of who the Seahawks are going to play. I can't tell you about the key injury news for the Seahawks that may or may not be able to play in this game because, well, we're quite a ways away. And so I'm hopeful that a lot of our guys will get healthy and ready to go. So why not, instead of procrastinating, let's look ahead and try and find some of those top free agent targets. But I want to ask you first, before I get into the 5 players that I think are best, and I will be ranking them 5-1, so make sure that you stick around and don't miss out on any of those players. Don't miss out on who I think the number 1 target should be. Who do you want the Seahawks to target in the 2026 off season? Is there a player? Is there a coach? Is there a person that you think could come into Seattle and immediately flourish and help this team take that next step forward? Let me know down below in the comment section. The first player that I want to take a look at on today's video is wide receiver Alec Pierce. Now, for those of you who have not had an opportunity to really view Alec Pierce this season, I would say that he is exploding onto the scene. And I got a couple other reasons why I want to look at Alec Pierce, but I do want to calm everyone down. In my eyes, this is still the Seahawks re-signing Rashid Shaheed. What Pierce can do for this team is he can add in a big play wide receiver threat and a big wide receiver target for Sam Darnold. He is taller than Rashid Shaheed and JSN. Right now, the Seahawks are lacking in the wide receiver room a tall, lanky receiver. I think that Pierce can fit into that mold, and I think that you will be able to see Pierce really grow as a player. When you looked at his last 4 seasons, what have you noticed about his yards? He got better. He got better, and then he got better. This is his first year over 1,000 yards receiving. Alec Pierce is slowly growing into one of the better wide receiver talents in the National Football League, and I believe the Seahawks would be able to get him on the cheap. Most importantly about Pierce, he was doing that with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Well, and technically Phillip Rivers. Imagine what he'd do with Sam Darnold, with JSN on the other side. He could be the ultimate Robin to JSN's Batman. The next free agent target that I want the Seahawks to really go after and look at, well, he's already in the building. Kenneth Walker should be one of the utmost important free agents that the Seahawks target, because he already knows the system that you want to run in Seattle. He already knows all the good places to eat. He already has the chemistry with everybody. He already knows the coaching staff. And frankly, he already knows what the role he would be playing in, and he would grow into it. This is what he's done so far this season, not missing a single game, which there was some worry early on in the preseason. He was dealing with some injuries. Over 1,000 yards rushing, but what you've seen from Kenneth Walker is as the season's gone on, he's gotten better and better. His yards per average continues to jump, and the only reason the touchdown numbers are where they're at is because the Seahawks have not used him in the low red zone. They've used Zach Charbonnet. Very important to note when we're talking about Kenneth Walker here. I think that Kenneth Walker could be brought back into Seattle at a very cheap rate, but I also think that he could continue to excel in a 2-headed running back system that they have created here in Seattle. The offensive line is getting better, the running backs are getting better, and Kenneth Walker, to me, should be a Seattle Seahawk in 2026. What should he be to you? Do you think that Kenneth Walker will be back in Seattle next season? Let me know down below in the comments. Yes or no. Is it a blank check situation, or is it one of those situations where the money has to kind of work with the player? But I do think they might be able to find that common ground there between the Seahawks and Walker and potentially bring him back in 2026. The other thing that's to note about Walker, and what I think could be a big addition with Walker coming back into Seattle, is that he would be able to really push this offense forward in year 2. How often have we seen a running back in their second year really perform at an elite level and really grow when they have been put into a situation like Walker would be put into? I think that K9 could really take this team and take that next step with this crew. So let me know what your opinion is down below in the comment section. Am I right? Am I wrong? Yes or no. Next, let's get into my top 3 free agent targets for Seattle. I gave you my first 2, but we need to talk about the other 3. Remember, 3, 2, 1. Don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss out on those. But before we do, I need to let you know about my good friends over at Rocket Money. I've got a couple of vacations planned for this summer. One most important to me is getting back home in July. Now, I knew I needed to start saving money so that I could be in a good financial position. Thank goodness I found Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has helped me track some of my subscriptions, and what do you know? Every once in a while, you find some double payments on streaming services. I didn't need to be doing that. Rocket Money helped me find those and cancel those extra subscriptions. I didn't need those. Save some money. Now I put that money away in my travel fund, but what Rocket Money is also helping me do is budget for my vacation. Now, what Rocket Money is doing is it's helping me set spending goals for each month so I can save a little bit of money on the side and continue to place that money over into my travel budget. I'm very, very excited for that traveling trip, and I'm very excited to be able to use Rocket Money to help put myself in the best position possible to have the most fun that I can on my trip. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rocket Money. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. The next free agent player that I want to take a look at is actually also already in the building for the Seattle Seahawks, and that is safety Coby Bryant. I know that he's been out the last couple of weeks with that knee injury that he suffered against the Rams, but what Coby Bryant has done a fantastic job this year is really holding down the secondary. While Julian Love got hurt, while Devin Witherspoon got hurt, while even Reek Woolen got hurt. Who was the constant who was there in the back end? It was Coby Bryant. And I know that he got hurt as of late, but that is a stellar season for a safety who really came into his own. He would have well over 80 tackles. He'd probably even have another interception. He's turned into a great ball-hawking safety, and he's only going to get better as he plays that free safety position more. Because remember, Coby Bryant was mostly the Seahawks nickel and dime type of defensive back early on in his career. We have to keep him in Seattle. He's going to be cheaper than some of the other safeties on the market. He's not going to earn that tier 1 money, but he might have some of that tier 2 money. What I will tell you about Coby Bryant is he already knows the system, the guys already respect him, and he is a great leader. Bring Coby Bryant back to Seattle. Next player, number 2, that Seattle should bring in, Jaelan Phillips, the edge rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, some of you who don't remember the trade deadline trade might be saying, hey, isn't Jaelan Phillips over at Miami Dolphins? Well, he got traded over to Philadelphia. I'll tell you right now, Jaelan Phillips would be a huge addition to this edge room. As good as Uchenna Nwosu has been, as good as DeMarcus Lawrence has been, they are both elder NFL players, and how often can we expect them to continue to have seasons like they have been having? Seattle has to have a backup plan, a contingency plan. Seattle has to get younger at that edge position. Jaelan Phillips is the perfect guy for that. Bringing in Phillips could not only add an extra oomph to that defensive line and that defensive edge, but more importantly, Seattle would be getting younger at a very key position. This is the type of player in Phillips who I think could really grow and flourish in Seattle. The last Seahawks free agent player that we need to look at, and I know it's not sexy, or maybe it is the most sexy. We're going at the offensive line, and I'm looking at Tyler Linderbaum, the center for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, there is kind of an expectation that Linderbaum will be re-signed and end up in Baltimore. I still think that the Seahawks, if he hits the market, has to throw a blank check at him. If Linderbaum was brought in to Seattle you would instantly have an upgrade at that center position. Now, this isn't an attack on Jaelan Sundell, but Linderbaum is the type of player that grades high in PFF and grades high when other offensive linemen watch him perform on the field. He can make all the blocks. If he has to go mano-a-mano against a nose guard, he can win that block. If he has to reach a linebacker, he can win that block. And no one beats him and gets a sack on the quarterback. 2 sacks allowed on a year, that's pretty damn good. Seattle would instantly have the best offensive line, in my opinion, if they brought in Linderbaum at center. You would have a better version of Gray Zabel because he would be older and would understand how to play against different defensive linemen because he's been pretty damn good this year. You would have at left tackle Charles Cross, who's one of the best tackles in the National Football League. You'd have Abe Lucas at right tackle, one of the better offensive tackles in the National Football League. He's definitely above average. And then at right guard, who knows? Now you could have that battle between Anthony Bradford, Olu Oluwatimi, Jaelan Sundell, Christian Haynes, whoever. Go and draft another guard. I don't care. You bring in Linderbaum as your center, this Seahawks offense would take leaps forward. And that's from a crew that's gotten better every single week, in my opinion, on the ground game. And I think that Linderbaum could help this offense go back to what it looked like at the beginning when I'm talking about the passing attack. Now I got to ask you a question because we've looked too much into 2026. Who is the best matchup for the Seattle Seahawks next week? Do you like the Seahawks versus the Packers? Do you like the Seahawks versus the 49ers? How about the Seahawks against the Rams one more time or the Seahawks against the Panthers? Those are the 4 teams that Seattle could play against. Let me know which team you think Seattle can run through the easiest down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show today. Had a lot of fun looking at 2026, but I'll tell you right now, this season is still going strong. Going to be a lot more videos about the Seahawks winning football games than potentially winning football games in the fall of 26. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Who is the best matchup for the Seahawks next week? Let me know down below in the comment section. Oh no, you are a mess. Oh no. Well, that's okay. We'll have to wipe it down. If you need to go and get a Band-Aid, you can go and do that. I was going to say, if you need, there's napkins over here, by the way. Let's use some of those there, my guy. There you go. We'll make sure that you're okay. Trigger says the Packers. That's the team that he wants to check out. Lil Tone says bring back K9. I love that. Joe Saucy says, are there no good guards available in free agency? Yeah, but I think the Seahawks are probably more than likely going to spend that money at center if they were going to spend any kind of money. To me, it makes more sense to pay a guy like Linderbaum, 3 Pro Bowls already, 25 years old, than it would to go and try and find a guard. I just think center has more of an impact. When you look at the Ringers list of the top 25 free agents in this upcoming free agent class, he's actually one of those top guys. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense to not go after him. I'll make sure that I'll go through some of the guards as well. Don't you worry. All right. We got to 130 likes. Thank you to everyone who came in and hit that like button. That's freaking awesome, man. Freaking awesome. We're going to give you guys 3 minutes. Sound good, Cyril? 3 minutes. So if you want to get in your last #Seahawks questions, now is the time to do so. Or you can send in that super chat if you want to guarantee that you are on the show. If you use the hashtag, you got a shot at being on, but I can't guarantee that you will be on the show. Jaelan, Thomas, Xander, and double Xander, you guys will be on the show. Can guarantee you that. If you want to guarantee that you'll be on, you got to send in that super chat. Fun day today, Cyril. It's been good to get back live on a Thursday with the people.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
I'm trying to think of the last one we did.
Yeah, it was me and you.
Yeah.
And it would have been before the Seahawks played the Rams. So let's see. It would have been right before that Week 16 game.
And that was Thursday night,
Yeah,
right?
so it would have been the Colts game. So that would have been our last live. Yeah. It would have been December 14th. It's the first Seahawks live of 2026, man. That's awesome. Seahawks Packers, says Mr. Bass Jaw Jackin. Love that. David says, go Hawks. Don't want to play the Rams. I kind of agree with you on that one. I don't know that.
Yeah, if I wanted to stay away from a team, it's them.
Yep. And that's not because I'm scared. Like, at some point, you're probably going to have to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But why go in a game where I got to take them on early? You know what I mean? Like, if I don't have to take on the Rams, I'm not going to take on the Rams. And I got called a coward for that, by the way, because I said I was mad that the Cardinals fired Jonathan Gannon because I didn't think Gannon was a good coach, and I knew that was going to be a good sign for the Seahawks. I don't think that's a coward move at all. If you're telling me that I can get a lot of money to work a job that I don't have to do a whole lot for, why would I turn that down for the job that I make less money, I work more? Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. I want a cushy job. I want to not have to work hard and get paid a lot of money. That's why people who have been working for a long time, once they get to a good spot and a good job, they just go, hey, you know what? I'm going to chill out. I'm not going to do as much for the company because I already put my time in. There's a reason why those people are the happiest. At least that's my opinion. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy on that one. Dottie says, doesn't care who you play. You know what? I can't get upset about that. Hey, who knows? Maybe the Panthers will end up beating the Rams. I'll keep my fingers crossed on that one. All right, so we are counting down that time. 136 likes, by the way. Thank you to everyone who hit that thumbs up button. That is fan-freaking-tastic.
You know what else is fantastic?
What's up?
We're going to be live for our watch party.
Ooh, good call, Searle. I almost forgot about this. This is why you're the best in the business, man.
Absolutely.
We are going to be live for a watch party this Sunday. Who are we going to be watching? The 49ers. And we are going to be booing the ever-living you-know-what out of them. So come on in, hang out with us, hang out and have a good time while we hate on the San Francisco 49ers, and we wish ill upon them. We do not want them to perform well. We do not want them to play well. So come on in, hang out with Searle and I. We're going to have a grand old time, and we think that you guys should have a grand old time with us too. We are well over that 3-minute mark, so that time for you to get in your supers and to get in that final hashtag Seahawks is over. We are going to get into our mailbag video today. As soon as that is done, we will sign off. Thank you again so much to everyone who came in and hung out with us today. Really had a grand old time. And, of course, we will do one final goodbye at the end of the video. Sound good? Awesome. All right, Cyril, are you ready? Sweet. I cannot wait. All right, so we're going to get into our mailbag. This video will come out on Saturday. Yes, sir. Hit that thumbs up button if you love that the Seattle Seahawks are the #1 seed in the NFC, because, boy, we kind of get to kick our feet back and really rest and relax while a lot of other teams are preparing for one of the most brutally mentally taxing weekends of the National Football season in the National Football League. This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we got to get into our mailbag. You guys have some questions. I've got some answers on today's video, and we're going to start off with Seahawks Lover, not my burner account, believe it or not. I know that's my picture, not my burner account. I might have to call someone, maybe the proper authorities. Is it weird that I want the Seahawks to play the 49ers again? No, Seahawks Lover, I don't necessarily think that is weird, although I do always want ill will to happen to San Francisco. But I think the Seahawks showed what a good job that they can do when it comes to attacking this San Francisco defense. They clearly have a stronger rushing attack than the defense of the San Francisco 49ers has stopping that rushing attack. And I think that while the Seahawks only won that game 13-3 in Week 18, it was very clear that if the Seahawks had capitalized on more opportunities, or frankly, if the Seahawks really wanted to, they could have put up a lot more points than they officially did in that one. So, yes, I would not hate playing San Francisco again. It would be fun to really crush the souls of 49ers fans and really end their season. It is important to note, though, there's some rumors that Fred Warner might be back. So be careful what you wish for on that one. Speaking of the 49ers and hating them, join us tomorrow. We are going to have our watch party. It's going to be a hate watch party. What does that mean? Basically means that I'm going to be calling the game. Searle's going to be hanging out, and we are going to hang out with you guys, basically rooting for the downfall of the 49ers. We do not want them to have nice things. We don't want the 49ers to win their game against the Philadelphia Eagles. We want them to be crying at home, grabbing the golf bags, dusting off whatever they do in the winter time because their season is over. Who knows? Maybe they're getting their tickets to go down to Cancun. Come on, hang out with us. We'll have a grand old time. Same sort of watch party that we normally do. Mike Nintendo Master. Look at you. Ending up on the video today. Good to see you. A Chat Sports Real One. What are the chances that Walker gets traded in the offseason? Well, there's no real trade value for him right now because he, frankly, is not under contract. Now, it would be weird to see the Seahawks do some sort of sign-in trade that's more of an NBA move. I think there is a real opportunity for Kenneth Walker to make some good money. I don't know that he put himself into that running back tier 1 or tier 2 type of money. Frankly, I want him back in Seattle because I think he fits the run scheme that they want to do here, which is have a power back, have a shiftier speed back, and Kenneth Walker is that speed back. And he's done actually a really good job as the season has gone on of understanding what his role is, how the offense is going to be blocked up front, and where to find the holes. So to me, I would really, really want Walker back in Seattle in the offseason. Alex! What's going on, sir? People are saying Haba may come and replace Kubiak. What are your thoughts on that? I would love that. Not happen. It's just, unfortunately, not going to happen. John Harbaugh will be a head coach in the NFL year of 2026. The question is just where. Obviously, Mike McDaniel just got fired on Thursday. As you look around the league as well, clearly the New York Giants, they really want Harbaugh over there coaching their team as well. Harbaugh will not be taking an OC job. McDaniel, that might be someone who would take an OC job. I'd be very interested in getting him if Kubiak did move on. In fact, I might be interested in getting him if Kubiak doesn't move on. That's how highly I think of Mike McDaniel. But Harbaugh, unfortunately, will not be in Seattle. Ben Johnson, what's going on? If the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl, who do you think is the scariest opponent they could face? Well, from a pure quarterback standpoint, it's Josh Allen. If the Buffalo Bills get to the Super Bowl, it kind of feels like they would be a team of destiny. It kind of feels like they would be in a position where he could really take that Super Bowl victory that's been eluding him for so long. So I'll tell you right now, from a quarterback perspective, it would be Buffalo and Josh Allen. From a pure team perspective, it's probably the Denver Broncos. I think very highly of Bo Nix. Sean Payton has been there, done that. He's won a Super Bowl before, so none of this would come as a shock to him. And they have a really freaking good defense over there as well. Now, the reason why I wouldn't say it's the Houston Texans is because Seattle already beat the Houston Texans, where when you look at the Broncos, it's a defense that's pretty close to being on par with them, with what I would say right now at least is a better playing quarterback, a better offense, and you have a coach who has won a Super Bowl before. So to me, if you're talking from a pure player standpoint, Josh Allen would scare me the most because he's probably the best player, or at least the most important player at the most important position left in the NFL playoffs, with Mahomes obviously not being in, Lamar not being in, and the rest, Joe Burrow not being in, the rest of the crew. But I would say with Josh Allen, Buffalo doesn't scare me as much as a team. The Broncos scare me as a team. It'll just be interesting if Bo Nix can get them there. Make sure that you come on in and hit that sub button. Right now, we are closing in on Dolphins today. We really want to catch up to them. We also want to catch up to 80,000 subscribers. It is so close. It's within our grasp. Hit that sub button if you love the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold's biggest fan. Shout out to his mom for tuning in to the show. Clearly not a big fan of Rashid Shaheed. Is it wrong to say that I am disappointed with Shaheed so far this season? I don't think that it's wrong to say that you are disappointed with Rashid Shaheed and what he has done this season for the Seattle Seahawks, but I would say that it's important to note that, frankly, I thought he would do more in that wide receiver position and in that wide receiver room. In fact, I'm a little disappointed right now in what he has done as a receiving threat. Now, when I want to talk about what he's done in the punt return game and in the kick return game, I'm clearly not disappointed. The guy's an absolute stud. He's been playing lights out this year. And so I know that he can play that same way when it comes to the wide receiver position. So to me then, is it Shaheed? Is it Sam Darnold? Is it Clint Kubiak? Probably a combination of all three. Sam Darnold needs to do a better job of getting the ball to Shaheed. Clint Kubiak needs to do a better job of calling plays that get Shaheed open. And then Shaheed needs to do a better job of making sure that he is seen when he is open down the field. I also think it's important to note the defenses are doing a better job of playing too high so he can't beat them open deep. That's also why you're seeing that rushing attack do a lot better. So I might be disappointed, but I'm not really disappointed in Shaheed as an individual person. I'm more so disappointed in the position that the Seahawks are in right now and not really taking advantage of a major skill set that their wide receiver has. Are you disappointed with Shaheed? Yes or no? Let me know down below in the comment section. And don't be afraid to really voice your opinion. Yes, because Shaheed should have done X, Y, Z. Or no, because I don't think it is fully Shaheed's fault. Let me know down below in the comment section. Make sure that you turn on your notifications as well for Seahawks Today. That way you never miss a Seahawks video whenever we have one come out to you. Got a couple more questions that I want to answer here on the back end. But before we do that, I need to let you know about my good friends over at Rocket Money. Everyone at this point has kind of heard my spiel. I'm very excited to go traveling in the summer. In fact, I got some really cool summer plans. And to be able to do those, I needed to start saving money. Thank goodness I found Rocket Money to help me do that. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money helped me track some of my subscriptions. What do you know? I was double paying for a couple of streaming services, unfortunately for me. So Rocket Money helped me find those double pays and cancel those extra subscriptions that I didn't need and save me some extra money that immediately went right in to that travel budget. Thank you, Rocket Money, for helping me out with that. Now, what Rocket Money is also helping me do is budget for my vacation later on this summer. So each month I'm setting a spending goal, and you know me, I'm a goal-driven person, trying to make sure that I hit those goals and save a little bit of extra money on the side that I can keep putting in to those budget plans for that trip and for those vacations. Thank you so much to Rocket Money for helping me be able to do that. Let Rocket Money help let you reach your financial goals faster. Join rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. Shout out to Rocket Money. Thank you so much. Jaelan! What up, sir? People still doubt the Hawks. What more do we need to do to silence the haters? Well, I would tell you right now, there's not a whole lot more that the Seahawks necessarily need to do to silence the haters. What I would say is that there's going to be haters no matter what. The minute that the Seahawks lose, knock on wood, fingers crossed that they don't do that, if the Seahawks were to lose, it's instantly going to go back into you can't win a big game, you can't win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. If the Seahawks are able to win the Super Bowl, guess what? The minute that there is trouble next year, people will attack the Seahawks. Just look at the Philadelphia Eagles this year. They just won a Super Bowl, and I've heard national media members say they need to fire Sirianni, that Jalen Hurts isn't really a quarterback, needs to be benched, A.J. Brown needs to be traded, that Kevin Patullo is an awful offensive coordinator, and that Tanner McKee should be the starter. Now, some of those things may end up being true, but it shows you that there is no grace period for a team in the National Football League. You either come in and perform at a high level, or you don't. And if you don't, then unfortunately you're going to get some haters. So hopefully we'll be drinking some haters' tears at the end of February when the Seahawks come out on top with a title victory. Thomas! If Clint Kubiak or Aiden Dirty depart, who should replace them? Well, with Clint Kubiak, number one would be Mike McDaniel. 100%. I don't know that he will be an offensive coordinator next year because I think there's a chance that he ends up being a head coach. But if he were to be willing to take an OC job, I would want him in Seattle tomorrow. I might want him in Seattle over Clint Kubiak. He does a great job with setting up the run game, making passes easy for his quarterback, and frankly, I think he would be a home run knock out of the park hire for the Seahawks. Aiden Dirty departs. I would promote someone from within. Justin Hines has done a fantastic job on that defensive line, really helping DeMarcus Lawrence find the fountain of youth. Uchenna Nwosu's been fantastic this year. Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, great jobs so far this year. So those would be a person internally that I would love the Seahawks to potentially promote from within. I think Mike Macdonald would like to stay within on the defensive side at least. Don't be shocked if he goes outside if Clint Kubiak were to move on as OC. Xander! I believe in Sammy D and always have. Who else? Dude, I believe in Sam Darnold. I think he's a good enough quarterback to get us where we need to be, and I think he's a good enough quarterback to lead this team to a title. What'll be interesting to see here with Sam Darnold and the rest of the crew is he able to not turn the football over. If he doesn't turn the football over, I'm pretty excited about what the Seahawks team can do, and I'm pretty excited about the Seahawks team potentially getting a victory. JSN for life. Can Sam Darnold lead this team to a title? I think that's perfect. Xander would tell you yes. I think that I probably tell you yes. I think he's a good enough quarterback to do so. Now, is he going to be the main one driving the bus? No, he just frankly isn't. But he's a good enough quarterback and has good enough stats this year that we've seen him win big games. We know that he can win big games. We know that Sam Darnold is the type of quarterback, if he does the right things, this team can win a title. That's how freaking good he is. What scares me is the interception number. What scares me is the fumble number. He's had 20 turnovers so far this year. He cannot turn the football over at the rate that he has been in the NFL postseason if the Seahawks are going to come away with that Super Bowl title. He has to continue to throw the football the way he has been. We're getting a bunch of yards, getting into the end zone without turning the football over. If he's able to do so, boy, oh boy, do I feel pretty damn good about the Seattle Seahawks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show today and getting your questions in. Always really appreciate that on our Thursday live shows here on the channel. Make sure that you hit that sub button and subscribe to Seahawks Today. We are closing in on 80,000 subscribers. Help us get there by hitting that sub button. What are you going to get? Free daily Seattle Seahawks content. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. Boy, oh boy, what a fun show today, Searle. Thank you so much for manning the ones and the twos.
Happy to do so.
Yes,
always.
Sir. Thank you to the most important people on the show today. That, of course, is you in the comment section. Really bringing in some fantastic questions, making my life easy, making Searle's life easy. 146 likes on a day when we were trying to get to 125 likes. That's a fantastic number there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you join us for our watch party on Sunday. Going to be a grand old time. Again, thank you guys for tuning into the show. We'll see you next time.